Hello and welcome to Support for Stressful Times. Lovely to be with you again. Sorry to report the times are still stressful, and at least we have our bodies, we have each other, we have this process of being able to pause and slow down and sense. Let's do that a little bit right now together. Starting with a breath, starting with a pause, starting with feeling your body supported by what you're sitting on, arriving. I've got my feet on the floor. It's not required, but this is what feels good to me right now. So noticing where your feet are. Let yourself take another breath. Yeah, nice it is to arrive with other people and to pause and to come into awareness. You know, we're having feelings all the time. It's human. But what makes the difference is when we can pause and be aware. Awareness needs a pause often. I don't just go through my life with awareness without pausing. When I pause, that invites turning toward what I'm aware of, sensing. Maybe take a moment now to sense how you're feeling. Nice to come into the body. Come into what it feels like here. And your body is always ready to tell you how you are. And while we're pausing, let me also ask you this. Do you feel accepting toward yourself? Are you a beloved person for you? Right now, I feel, yeah, I feel pretty good about myself. But a couple hours ago when I woke up, I I didn't. So these things change during the day. So we're checking. Feel pretty good about yourself? Now, one of my missions, one of my passions in this life is to help people shift their relationship to an inner critic. What's in the way of liking yourself, feeling good about yourself, is often this feeling that you're wrong somehow. Maybe you feel like you are flawed or broken or something like that. And you feel like how you're living is somehow so wrong, so bad. Maybe there's habits you wish would change, and you're got a part of you scolding you for whatever, staying up so late, eating so much, this and that. Yeah. Catherine writes, it's hard to accept myself when I feel utterly exhausted. Yeah, it is. What if what we accept is the feeling of utterly exhausted? And then maybe that's hard. Okay, let's try that. Right. So if you've got a feeling that feels like it makes it hard to accept yourself, for Catherine, it's feeling utterly exhausted. So noticing that, and then say, I am sensing something in me feels utterly exhausted. Well, if that doesn't feel true, I'm sensing a big feeling of utterly exhausted. But I am sensing is the way we phrase it. Yeah. And I'm acknowledging that. I'm saying hello to that. I'm turning toward that. If there's feelings we don't like inside ourselves, for good reason, right? Who wants to feel utterly exhausted? Of course, we don't like that. But if there's a feeling you don't like, it needs for you to turn toward it with acknowledgement. And acknowledgement is like, hello, I know you're there. Hello, I know you're there is not the same as I love you. You don't have to say I love you to your feeling, the feeling you don't like. Could be exhaustion, could be a feeling of hopelessness, could be anger, could be anxiety. Anka wrote inadequacy. Ah, yes, inadequacy. Yeah. So, what a difference there is between saying, I feel inadequate, and you can kind of feel your whole body sinking and shrinking. I feel inadequate. That I understand. That's true. That's how it feels. You're telling the truth about how you feel. And what would happen if you turn toward that feeling that feels so bad? So I turn toward it. Well, see, the implication is there's more to me than that. There's more to me than that. I turn toward something in me that's feeling inadequate. I'm not going to tell it that it's not, because we don't tell our feelings things. I don't think that's a good idea. But I do bring curiosity to it. So I'm sensing something in me feels inadequate. And I'm acknowledging that. And there's this, it's not putting it at a distance. It's not distancing. I don't see it that way. It's relating. So if I relate to you, that's the opposite of distancing you. Right? But I'm separating from the feeling in order to have a relationship with it. I am here with this. And Catherine writes, I avoid this dark feeling. So in that case, see if it's possible to say hello to something in you that avoids the feeling. And recognize, as I say these things, right, I'm proposing that you turn toward the feeling that's hard, that gets in the way of feeling good about yourself. You turn toward it, you say, hello. And then you notice there's something that objects to that, something in the way. I don't want to. I don't want to say hello to it. I'd get sunk in it. Or if I say hello to it, it'll get bigger. Or I just don't like it. Yeah? So we call that the feeling about the feeling. We start with something that feels, my proposal is you then say, I am sensing, and I'm saying hello to it. Then you feel, I don't like it. And then, this is the big one, you say, and I'm sensing something in me doesn't like it. And what we call this is the process of cultivating self in presence. Self in presence. Because self in presence is your ability to turn toward anything inside you. And it is cultivated by exercising it. When you turn toward what's inside you, you are cultivating your ability to turn toward what's inside you. You don't have to first somehow become something. It's the very turning toward that enables you to turn toward. I'm just checking in the chat and see what people have been saying. I just says sometimes I feel guilty for no reason. So something in you feels guilty. And something in you says there's no reason. I'm not sure those are the same part. Allison writes, can it be physical? I'm burning up or burned out at times. Yeah, so when I say feelings, by the way, I love language. It's very interesting to me. The word feeling in English has this overlapping set of meanings. It can mean emotions, right? Your feelings like anger and sadness and so on. And it can mean body sensations. I have the feeling of tightness in my chest. So let's really consciously know that feeling means lots of things. It can be the burning in the chest, or it can be the feeling of anger. And then, of course, we have felt sense. Felt sense is this special word that Eugene Gendlin brought into the world to describe the research he was doing when psychotherapy clients were successful, were ultimately going to be successful. They were doing this funny thing of sensing something they couldn't put into words easily. That's why we want some very, very vague word like the word something to describe what we're feeling. I'm feeling something like, and just notice how that helps. Yeah. Oh, Allison says it helps what I'm saying. I feel bigger. Oh, that's so good. Now, Yanni writes, I'm exhausted because of restless legs and struggling to sleep. So understand what happens at night is you have restless legs, and then it's hard to sleep. And that sounds really hard. I'm sorry you have to go through that. And I don't know all the things that help with restless legs. But what I do know is that right now, here and now, you're having a feeling about that. Discouraged, maybe, helpless, worried, filled with uncertainty about what can help. Let's have you say hello to that right now, how you feel about it. Yeah. I'm sensing, I'm feeling, I'm sensing something in me is feeling exhausted from having not been able to sleep well. And I say hello to that. Okay. Getting a yes to that one. So we're asking, am I okay the way I am? I'm saying, I totally believe you are. And this is an interesting paradox. In fact, Carl Rogers, the great Carl Rogers, called it a curious paradox. He said, there's a curious paradox that when I accept myself as I am, then I can change. And I think that's been true in my experience too. But what does it mean to accept the way I am? We've got a little more detail to that now that we've got inner relationship focusing. That accepting the way I am includes having an accepting relationship with how I am. And that includes pausing, as we're doing right now together, noticing, how am I? And then whatever I'm aware of, saying to it, yes, I know you're there. And then aware if there's anything in me that doesn't like it, I'm turning toward that and saying hello to that as well. So that is like a series of steps that can take us toward feeling accepting the way we are. And one of the things that happens is that people have trouble accepting themselves because there's something in their lives they'd like to change. And for instance, I remember years and years and years when I wanted to write a book that would help people. That was my ambition all through my 30s and 40s. I wanted to write a book that would help people feel better emotionally. And I couldn't write. I mean, I would have good ideas and I'd sit down and write for a while, and then I would get up and do something else, and then I wouldn't get back to it for months. And then I felt unhappy with myself. Like, what's wrong with me? I'm the one in the way of me meeting my life's ambition of being able to write a book that helps people. I'm the problem. So that's what I mean when I say we can, sometimes what's in the way of accepting ourselves the way we are is that we want something. We want something more, something different, something other. Maybe it's not writing a book. Maybe it's having a healthy exercise program. And because you want a healthy body, that would be another one. So all kinds of things we might ask of ourselves, and then we find ourselves not doing the things. And then the extra thing is, and I'm bad for not doing it. What's wrong with me? I'm a problem. Yeah. So I finally was able to turn toward the part of me that didn't write. It took me a while to even conceive of that because I couldn't feel it in my body. All I felt in my body was, I want to write. I don't know why I don't, but I also felt this little, what's wrong with me? Finally, I got the idea of turning toward the part of me that didn't want to write without scolding it, right? Up till then, if I was aware of such a part, I would be in, and get over it. Come on. But I could get into this state of really just curiously listening. That's a kind of acceptance, right? Just curiously listening. I found out. I didn't just find out. I also got into a relationship with the part that didn't want to write that changed the whole dynamic. It turned out it was connected to the way my father treated my creative expression when I was a child. I was in my 40s, but this is what happens. We carry these things with us, don't we? If they're unexamined, they continue. I found out that the part of me that didn't want to write was harking back to the way my father put me down for my creative expression when I was a child. Didn't want that to happen to me again. And when I could say to it, I get it. No wonder. Then things started to change. And of course, you all know I've now written 6 books. But the first one was the first book I ever wrote, The Power of Focusing, was like someone who's been childless and longed for a child, finally having a baby, having a child. And that's where it came from. It came from accepting, turning toward accepting, saying hello. Allison says, it feels like I'm stuck there. You mean you know where it came from, but it still hasn't changed. But the key isn't knowing what it was. The key is inner relationship. So not, yeah, I know what that's from, and I don't know, okay, I still can't do it. It's like coming into your body and saying hello to the part of you that's not been doing it. Saying hello to that with love. With love. That's a radical thing to do. The very thing that's been in your way of doing what you want to do in your life, turning toward it with love. It's all we've got. It's 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 what it's the secret sauce. It's what changes everything. The part of me that didn't want to write, not just I know it's trying to protect me from my father, but hello, I know you are trying to protect me. Tell me more about what you don't want to have happen to me. That's what can really change. Okay. In the chat, I'm seeing that landed well. Yeah, yeah. But we're also seeing in the chat the inner relationship with the younger me seems difficult. Well, you could tell me more what's difficult about that. But it isn't instant. It's something we develop. It takes time. It starts with pausing, sensing, coming into the body. And what I'm suggesting today is a practice that starts with, can I accept myself? Am I okay the way I am? Am I okay the way I am? And then you notice what comes, right? That's an evocative statement. Am I okay the way I am? If yes, enjoy. If yes, enjoy. In the chat, we see, I'm too small. You're asking too much from me. Yeah. If there's something in you that feels too small and like it's having too much asked for it, it's probably right. Sometimes parts of us are landed with jobs that are too big for them because our big self has been missing. The big self, self-in-presence, is the one who needs to do things. I find inside myself a part that says that job's too big for me. I can't do it. I'll say to it, oh, you thought you had to do it. I'm here now. Here I am. There is a process that starts with pausing and sensing. And if you like, the next step could be, can I accept myself? If you accept yourself, enjoy. If not, what's that? Is it that there's a sense of being flawed somehow or failing in some way? And that's an interesting thing to turn toward. Something in me feels like I've failed. Let's get interested in that. Hello, you feel like I've failed. Tell me more about what failing feels like, what not failing would be. Yeah. You know, this is a process of inner listening, inner relationship that starts just by coming into awareness, pausing and sensing. But then when we become aware of something that doesn't feel good, right? It isn't something to just enjoy. There is a sort of automatic cultural, in my culture anyway, habit of if there's something in me I don't like, then I push it away. I try to get rid of it. I try to talk myself out of it. I try to distract myself from it. I go watch TV instead of, but let's turn toward it instead. Turn toward what in you don't like, and then also turn toward the one in you that doesn't like it. And that summarizes what I've been saying today. Now you are here. See, that's the thing. I'm the one who turns toward. I'm the one who can say, I know you're there. I'm curious. I'd like to get to know you better. And that's the bigger self. That's the bigger self. That's the self-in-presence. So it is about relationship. That's another thing that happens sometimes, is that we get the idea, I don't know where, popular culture or something, that the important thing is to know what happened, understand the source of the trauma or distress or whatever. Now that I know, I should be over it. It's really not about knowing at all. It's about relationship. And when you are turning towards yourself with a willingness to listen, a willingness to get to know what's here, that's already the beginning of change. So we've been talking about accepting yourself, saying, you're okay the way you are. In my opinion, you are. What if you're okay the way you are? Yes. Someone wrote in the chat, it requires patience. It requires the kind of patience that I feel toward my grandson who's 4 months old when he falls asleep and I'm holding him. And maybe my back is getting a little cramped and I kind of need to go to the bathroom, but I'm not going anywhere. So that's the kind of patience, because it's patience with love. It's because it takes the time. It takes, and I'm here. Relationship is like that. When relationships go well, they're the most nourishing thing on earth. And you have an inner relationship that you can cultivate. Isn't that nice? I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here. That's what you're saying to these places inside yourself, especially the younger ones. Because the younger, from an early time in your life, they feel young inside you. They long just to be given some loving company. You can give them that loving company that they've been missing. So beautiful. Well, that's our time for the day. And thank you so much for the interaction. And this is really nice to be with you like this. We'll do it again, I think, in July. Mm-hmm. All righty. Take care. Bye for now. Keep listening inside. Take care. Bye.